Who would have known moving to Los Angeles would have been the best thing for me for job perspective, you know? Because when Rich Eisen needs a little break, who does he call?
The kid.
The Ghostbuster, the kid.
I would say everyone in this room could attest moving to LA was the greatest thing we did in our lives.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now mine, we're gonna get to the Miami Dolphins story
Do not regret it.
here in a second, but it was for me, right? I walked out of prison December 3rd, 2014, with no idea what the hell was ahead of me. I had no money. I had no.
Were you in Montana?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had no job opportunities. Women weren't lined up around the corners to date me, right?
Ryan, let me ask you. Last time you were here, you said something and it stuck with me. You said, "Tell me the amount of time it was that you didn't go outside."
I was in prison for 32 months, and I went outside twice.
In 32 months, you physically
April 10th, both years. I don't know why that date. The first time I was asked by a fellow inmate to come out and play football with them, like it was like the freaking longest yard, you know. And I was Bruce Reynolds,
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, sorry. And I remember walking out there, and they made me all-time quarterback, and I'm in this. I can see the mountains that I grew up in hunting through razor wire, and it was just humiliating. I did it. The guards were all talking about it. I could hear the walkie-talkie squawking, "Hey, leave out, you're throwing passes." And I felt so humiliated and worthless. And I remember when I walked back to my room, I said to I'm not going outside again. Wow. I'm not going to do that. And even after that evening, one of the guys that asked me to come out walked up to me and he said, "Dude, today was my birthday. That was absolutely the coolest thing I've ever got to do. I got to play catch with an NFL quarterback." Wow. I still couldn't hear it. I still couldn't hear that this was about something else, somebody else, what I could do for I was still so invested in me and how it made me feel and everything like that. It kept me from going back outside for another year. I went back out April 10th the next year just because I thought it was cute. It was the anniversary, and I went and sat on my butt in the dirt, looked up again at the mountains through the razor wire, and so when I walked out of there on that date, Mom and Dad were there to pick me up. Nothing. I had nothing. I tried to implore my parole officer to let me go do treatment down in Southern California. He wouldn't have it, which is interesting. You know, somebody wants to go get help and they don't do it because they never see that, right? It's a precedent. Guys who are in an institution, when they get out, they don't want to go to another institution. They want to be free. So it was unfamiliar to him. But about 3 months later, he acquiesced. He must have seen like the work I was doing, the person I'd become, and he let me go to treatment down here in Los Angeles. And luckily for me, I got down here. I met the people that are in my life now, who have continued to be in my life, and this world has just opened up to me. It really has. And one of them has been Rich, who has supported me from the beginning and given me the opportunity. I know we wanted to talk a little NFL. We're going to get to that a little bit later, but now this seems like it's Ryan's story time, which we get into here on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I started working for a sober living environment called Transcend Recovery. And I tell you this story simply because I walked in, he offered me the job, $15 an hour. And the only reason I tell you that is because I was making $5 million a year, people, and was miserable. I was a miserable human being to be around. I was a bad person. And I'd just been offered a job for $15 an hour and felt more value than I'd ever felt in my life. So clearly what I thought success was wrong. What ultimately I found success to be is accountability, owning what you've done, and understanding that it's something you did, it's not something you are. Spirituality, knowing that there's something bigger out there for me, who's guiding me, and it certainly has been the case. There's no reason why I should be here looking at you, talking to you on the radio, hosting a show in place of Rich Eisen, and in community. And that's the part of this that's involved, right? When I was a player, I thought I was better than everybody else. When I was in the NFL, I just thought I was a better person because I could play this silly game. In the lowest of the lows, I didn't want anybody to know I was this, filthy, drug fiend. So I didn't have a community. And Los Angeles has been that. The recovery community is absolutely amazing. And I'm right in the middle of it. And then that branches out in different directions. I went to look for different kind of goals and things professionally. And so the relationship with Rich blossomed into relationships with all of you. And we spend time outside of this studio. We share times with our families, with our significant others. It's a community. And so those three things I just said to you, accountability, spirituality, and community, that's what I see success is. I don't see success as money and power and prestige. And I thought that's the end all be all when I got to the NFL. There were many things that I could have done differently. But being able to come to Los Angeles, and thank you to the government of California because you accepted my parole to transfer to California. If that doesn't happen, I have to find another state to accept me because I couldn't stay in Montana. That was as toxic an environment as I could. So I had to find another state. If I wasn't able to stay here and go through this process, I was headed to Arizona. Arizona had accepted me. My college roommate owns a string of workout gyms there called Knockout Fitness, and he was going to make me a manager. And that's what I was going to do. So it's unbelievably interesting to see what the state of California has done for me and what it's given me. And so therefore I try to give in return.